Tonight on CTV News, troubling crime spree.
It has a massive effect on those involved. It has a massive effect on our community.
A Vancouver Island man is sentenced in the largest voyeurism case in Canada. The staggering number of victims captured in photos and video without their knowledge.
I'm seeing Premier Eby this weekend. It might be a little awkward.
Simmering tensions between David Eby and the Alberta Premier, the olive branch Danielle Smith is offering.
These are people who specifically leave the city to drive those nice twisty highways and drive them way too fast.
Luxury cars impounded on the Sea to Sky Highway. How speed tourism is making the stretch of highway more dangerous.
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the sentencing of a man who pleaded guilty in an unprecedented voyeurism case. Police say he captured images and videos of more than 600 women and girls and then posted them online. The vast majority of these victims had no idea they were being exploited. CTV's Martin McMahon has the story.
The scale of this is hard to comprehend. 39-year-old Yin Young Derek Chan of Saanich has been handed a 4.5-year sentence following a voyeurism investigation which police believe involved 652 victims, women and girls photographed or recorded without their knowledge or consent, with those images then posted to websites around the world.
These images and videos were taken in retail spaces, public spaces, including parks, beaches, near private settings.
This follows Chan pleading guilty to a number of charges in October of last year, including voyeurism, making child pornography, recording people in a place they'd expect privacy, observing or recording for a sexual purpose, and publishing a recording obtained in the commission of a crime.
Certainly is challenging working with victims that don't know if they've been filmed or photographed. That being said, our investigators are still working at identifying the victims that are in the imagery and the videos and are proactively reaching out.
Chan has been in the news before, put on wanted posters in 2021 after he allegedly recorded video of a woman at a Forever 21 location at the Uptown Mall in Victoria while she was in a changing room. He was charged and then failed to show up for his court appearance.
If anyone believes they're a victim, they know a victim, or supporting somebody, you can contact our police department. We can always have an investigator speak with you in whatever form is comfortable for you, really taking a victim-centered approach here moving forward.
Police have identified 40 victims and say they're working on having all images related to this case taken off the internet. While Chan has been sentenced to 4.5 years, when time served is factored in, he will spend 31 months behind bars, or just over 2.5 years. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
Premier David Eby spoke to reporters for the first time today since his high-stakes meeting with the Prime Minister in Vancouver yesterday. It comes after Eby complained Alberta was getting special treatment from Ottawa for energy projects. As CTV's Rob Buffum reports, Eby took aim at our neighboring premier.
Premier Eby rolled up his sleeves before taking some swings at Alberta Premier Danielle Smith ahead of Monday's Western Premiers meeting hosted by Smith.
Having a Western Premiers meeting and having one of the premiers, bluntly, that appears to be setting the table to leave the country.
The taunts, delivered with smiles, continued Thursday between the two neighboring leaders ahead of the meeting.
Well, I bought him a pair of boots, so I think he's going to show up at least for the boots.
Heard a rumor that she has a pair of cowboy boots for me. I can't wait to put them on, and so I look forward to that. I fundamentally disagree with her approach to Canadian unity.
The tension the day after Eby met with Prime Minister Carney, and Carney had made clear his desire to get BC on board with a pipeline to its coast.
If things get stalled here, we're going to be spending more time elsewhere in the country because we need to move forward.
Eby says the meeting kick-started negotiations for more BC projects with federal support. He also maintains Alberta is getting special treatment thanks to Premier Smith's threats of separatism.
My goal was to convince the Prime Minister to give the same level of attention and investment to BC projects as he's giving to Alberta.
A message he happened to relay while 6 staffers held up a Canadian flag as a backdrop. A not-so-subtle dig at Smith.
You know, maybe I could bring it with me to Western Premiers and gift it to her.
When the Premier gets desperate like he is right now, what he will do is he will try and wedge. He will try and wedge British Columbians. He's now trying to wedge Canadians.
Eby says a pipeline route didn't come up in his meeting with Carney Wednesday, but he hopes to negotiate a formal agreement with Ottawa for more support for BC projects.
This is a strategy that every premier takes. They want to be captain of their province. We've seen that in BC before. Of course, that's what Danielle Smith is doing. It's what Doug Ford is doing.
A battle the leaders are fighting for national resources with the backdrop of threats to national unity.
And Rob joins us live from Victoria. And Rob, what more do we know about next week's meeting?
Well, Mijung, it's taking place in Kananaskis, and as I mentioned, it's on Monday and Tuesday. Interestingly, Danielle Smith just moments ago gave a televised address to Albertans telling them that she will indeed go ahead with the referendum on whether or not they want to stay in Canada. So there will be a lot going on when the premiers descend on Kananaskis this upcoming Monday. Mijung.
Yeah, and we'll see if David Eby comes back with some cowboy boots.
That's right.
All right, thanks, Rob. Well, it was a controversial project the late John Horgan didn't always support, but today it was announced that Site C Dam will be renamed in the former premier's honor.
The naming reflects the nuance and the challenge of decisions that confronted John in his time and is emblematic of his integrity and his willingness to move forward in the best interests of British Columbians.
Construction started on the dam in 2015 under the previous Liberal government, and when Horgan's NDP took office 2 years later, he said the project was too far along to stop the dam on the Peace River. Became fully operational last year and cost $16 billion, nearly double the original estimate. Horgan died in November 2024. Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the Liberal government's legal strategy failed private property owners in the landmark Kawichin case. Now his party is pushing for change. But could it add more friction in an already strained relationship between government and First Nations? Here's CTV's Kevin Chirac.
Last summer, a court ruled 800 acres in Richmond be given back to the Kawichin tribes, the decision creating uncertainty for home, business, and farm owners, even as the Kawichin tribes have repeatedly said private property won't be impacted. Montrose Properties, a large private landowner in the impacted area, also filed legal action to reopen the case. The company recently wrote to the Prime Minister arguing the Government of Canada must support the argument Aboriginal title was extinguished when the private property titles were created. The issue becoming a flashpoint in federal politics.
This Liberal government instructed its lawyers not to defend property rights in the Kawichin case.
We have always defended private property rights. We always will.
The decision has been appealed by all parties, including the federal and provincial governments and the city of Richmond. But Conservatives argue federal lawyers were held back, pointing to a 2019 directive introduced by then Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould, which encourages a focus on reconciliation and the recognition of Indigenous rights in court.
That guideline stops federal lawyers from arguing that fee simple property rights takes precedence over all other claims.
The Conservatives announcing a new motion to address the issue.
It calls on the Prime Minister to instruct federal lawyers to argue in court that private property rights take priority over all other claims.
The motion comes at a tense time in BC government and Indigenous relations. The BC Conservatives are pushing to scrap DRIPA. The Premier has sent mixed signals on whether it could be changed, and some First Nations are warning of possible legal action and protests. We asked Poilievre how this motion could impact that relationship.
With this motion that you're set to introduce on Monday, how do you think that'll impact government and Indigenous relations?
Well, my motion would improve Indigenous relations by bringing clarity that homeowners are protected.
But one political scientist we spoke with disagrees.
I think clarity would be beneficial, but I don't think that approach would bring clarity. I think it would bring additional conflict.
The motion heads to Ottawa next week. Kevin Chirac, CTV News.
Canvassing has officially begun for the campaign to remove controversial MLA Dallas Brody from office. Elections BC issued the recall petition against Brody after approving an application that says she's unfit to represent the riding. As CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports, there are now questions as to how successful the recall will be.
The recall campaign is spearheaded by Dorothy Cumming, resident of Vancouver, Kawichin, the riding where Dallas Brody serves as MLA.
At its core, this is about giving voters the opportunity to choose someone they believe is fit for office.
Despite living in the riding, Cumming provided Elections BC with a mailing address in Langley, one that matches Imagine Surrey, a municipal party running a former NDP MLA as its mayoral candidate.
I was nervous, and another person stepped forward so that the public would only get my name.
Imagine BC says the party has nothing to do with the recall, and its financial agent, Cindy Dalglish, is supporting it outside of her role at Imagine. But there are questions as to what the campaign entails.
There's no specific set of criteria necessary. It's not like an impeachment process or anything like that. It's just an expression of voters feeling like they've been let down by their MLA and they would like to replace them.
Brody has come under fire for controversial comments about survivors of residential schools in a video that says no bodies have been found at the Kamloops site. She was also kicked out of the Conservative caucus by then leader John Rustad, now sitting as an independent.
This whole thing about my truth and your truth, oh, my truth. This stuff has to stop. It's like, it's got to be the truth.
Steve Sweetholt is a residential school survivor who lives in Victoria but has agreed to be a canvasser for the petition.
Hurtful comments that continue to this day, and this kind of conduct does not belong in British Columbia politics.
Still, it's a difficult feat. Organizers need to collect 15,232 signatures by July 20th to trigger a by-election, something none of the 30 previous recall petitions have been able to do.
We have to try. We have to get out the word that she is not representing us appropriately.
CTV reached out to Dallas Brody's office for comment but did not hear back in time for broadcast. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Vancouver.
A missing person case is now being treated as a homicide investigation. Squamish RCMP say 45-year-old Stuart McLean was reported missing after he hadn't been seen since May 15th at his home in Lions Bay. Investigators say they've uncovered evidence leading them to believe McLean was the victim of a homicide. IHIT has now taken over the case. The photo of McLean released by police matches an IMDb profile identifying him as an actor and producer. Is high-tech health care only for the ultra-rich? A Surrey family walks to Victoria in hopes of getting their young son a multi-million-dollar treatment for his rare condition. The story in just a moment, but first let's take a look outside of Canada Place. Plenty of blue sky and warm sunshine today. It's 6:12. I was just out for a walk this afternoon. It was so nice.
Yes, it feels like summer out there. We're seeing above seasonal temperatures once again, and across the lower mainland, we're seeing clear and calm conditions. Here's a look at temperatures across the board right now. 20 degrees at the harbor. You're looking at 23 degrees in Burnaby right now, 24 in Pitt Meadows, and look at Chilliwack, 26 degrees. As we head through the overnight, we'll see a few clouds with a mild 11 degrees, and we'll do it all over again tomorrow. We'll see mostly sunny skies near the water, anywhere between 19 and 20 degrees, but inland temperatures will reach 25. Get outside and enjoy it because it cools down as we head into the second half of the weekend and into next week. Much needed rain. Those details coming up.
All right. Thanks a lot, Anne. Well, the parents of a Surrey toddler diagnosed with a rare genetic condition are walking hundreds of kilometers to the BC legislature. They're hoping to raise desperately needed funds they believe could cure their son's disease. As CTV's Isabella Zavarisi reports, they're also doing it for other families across the country struggling with the same heartache.
Clinging to his mom, Gurmo Singh Gill is unaware of the disease slowly eroding his body. He's only 3 years old.
He's just like any other toddler, like he loves
cars, anything with wheels, he loves it.
Gil has spastic paraplegia type 4. Over time, he will lose the ability to walk, eat, and speak.
My son has the equal right like any other child in this world. He deserves it. He deserves that care. He deserves that love.
Gil's family isn't giving up, tracking down McGill researchers who believe they can treat the disease through gene therapy.
That needs to be tailor-made. It sounds a little fantascientific, a little science fiction, but it can be done.
The cost is $8 million. The family needs $2.7 million to start the treatment. They're $700,000 away from their goal.
As a parent, it's not possible for us to just sit there and not do anything. So, you want to do everything possible for your child.
Which is why they're embarking on a 120-kilometer walk, stopping in a number of places until they arrive in Victoria Monday, hoping to raise the rest of the money.
It's a symbolic representation of what families with kids who have rare diseases go through.
The Gills are one of many Canadian families trying to cope with a devastating diagnosis.
It's a disease where the neurons in his brain are degenerating and he's slowly becoming paralyzed over time.
Back in BC, the Gills will meet with Health Minister Josie Osborne, who says she's committed to working with families facing rare diseases. The Gills have put everything on hold, including their careers as dentists, all in the hopes that by continuing to fight for Gurmo, he will have a chance at a normal life. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
It's the day businesses on Broadway have been waiting for. Part of Broadway between Maine and Quebec is now open. Also ahead.
We advertise that we're there, we use road signs saying we're there, and we're still getting record numbers of speeders.
A record number of cars were nabbed on the Sea to Sky Highway, including several luxury cars. Police warning about the dangers of speed tourism. When CTV News continues, stay with us. Vancouver's Cambie Street Bridge is getting a massive seismic overhaul to help protect one of the city's busiest routes in the event of an earthquake. Federal, city, and TransLink officials made the announcement today, saying the upgrades will help keep people, goods, and emergency services moving when the next big quake hits. The federal government is contributing more than $84 million, with TransLink putting up $37 million, while the city of Vancouver covers the remaining costs. Some good news for commuters and businesses dealing with the Broadway subway construction closure. After 4 months of being shut down, Broadway is now open to traffic, one lane in each direction between Main and Quebec streets. Another closure of Broadway between Cambie and Alberta streets will start after the World Cup. So many drivers were caught speeding on the Sea to Sky Highway. Mounties say it is record-breaking. More than 200 tickets were issued this long weekend alone. With a staggering number of people going so fast, people took away their vehicles. Sinjin Alexander has the details.
This is what a record haul looks like. 4 Porsches on the Sea to Sky shoulder impounded. They would have been towed away by now, but so many people were nabbed for excessive speeding, the flatbed was already full.
We knew it was going to be busy over the May long weekend, but even by our standards, this is a lot.
Because that's only part of it. Between May 15th and May 18th, 212 drivers got tickets on Highway 99, and an all-time high, 66 vehicles were hauled away for excessive speed.
People know we're there, we advertise that we're there, we use road signs saying we're there, and we're still getting record numbers of speeders.
Mounties say many of the drivers stopped were locals, or people who were trying to get to Squamish and Whistler in a hurry. But they are also seeing what's known as speed tourism. Drivers in high-end cars who come here deliberately to speed.
These are people who specifically leave the city to drive those nice twisty highways and drive them way too fast. Those people are ending up on the back of tow trucks.
Now, safety on the highway has improved considerably, but it still has a reputation for being dangerous. For whatever reason, most of the cars were impounded on Sunday. Some of the speeds so excessive, they were clocked more than 80 kilometers an hour over the limit. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Alberta residents are one step closer to a vote on separation, what Premier Danielle Smith said in a speech to the province. Also ahead.
We did not have a cold enough winter to kill off a good portion of those ticks.
Tick season is ramping up. What local vets are saying about how early they showed up this year. Next on CTV News at 6. It's the second last weekend of May, and as always, there's lots to do in Metro Vancouver. We've got a full list of fun things to check out on our website, ctvnewsvancouver.ca. A bipartisan committee that erupted into chaos in Alberta has voted to send the Forever Canadian petition to Cabinet, recommending it be included in a referendum this fall. It puts Albertans one step closer to a vote on separation. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
Shame on you, traitors! Traitors! All of you, traitors!
A man in the gallery of a special citizen initiative committee yelled at policymakers as they voted to send a pro-Confederation petition for cabinet approval. But the committee also left the question open-ended.
Do you believe Alberta should remain in Canada? Instead, we see include an option. And that word option gives a huge amount of latitude to the government to insert any question of their choosing.
400,000 Albertans signed Thomas Lukaszik's petition last year. Despite him saying it was meant for policy discussion, the UCP government says he wanted a referendum on that question all along.
I can't believe we actually have to do this.
During debate, the NDP members wanted to include First Nation consultation before any question, but it was voted down.
Her political fortunes depend on keeping that group of people happy. She made a promise that there would be a separatism referendum.
Not going to have productive debate today. Then let's just call the question and move on with it. But this is clearly an attempt by the member from Edmonton-Wetwood, Ms. Pancholi, to grandstand for her next leadership race.
Even though a provincial court shot down a separatist petition last week, some form of question is expected for Albertans to vote on separation this fall.
It's going to have to clear a number of different hurdles. It's going to have to go through First Nations consultation. It's also going to have to be passed by the Alberta legislature.
And depending on what that question is, separatists are putting pressure on the Premier and exposing cracks in the governing party.
There's many in the UCP party that would prefer to stay in Canada, but then there's a very large and motivated base of the UCP that's calling on her to exercise her constitutional authority to call a referendum.
Publicly, at least, the government does not see it that way.
Our caucus, we're united, and I look forward to seeing the direction the Premier heads.
It's now up to Cabinet and the Premier about how to move forward, and it's unclear what happens if a separation vote in favour of leaving Canada succeeds.
I don't think it's appropriate to say, well, we'll have that conversation after the question is called, because merely calling the question has implications. How you frame the question has implications. I think all of that needed to have been considered before we got here.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith just made a TV address to her province moments ago. Here's what she had to say.
I am announcing today that I will be requesting our government add an additional question to the October 19th referendum vote announced previously. Because this proposed referendum question does not directly trigger separation, but if successful, would ask Alberta's government to commence the legal process necessary to hold a binding referendum on the matter, the recent court ruling would not be applicable, and the referendum question I outlined could proceed.
A warning tonight for pet owners and anyone who spends time outdoors. It's tick season, and this year some vets have been seeing these nasty parasites earlier than ever. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has more.
So the main area we look at is around the eyes.
Veterinarian Adrian Walton is checking Rocco for ticks, which have been showing up on pets at his clinic since mid-February.
Normally we don't actually see ticks until mid to end of April, so it was really interesting to start seeing them this early. We did not have a cold enough winter to kill off a good portion of those ticks.
But dogs are just one of the animals that he's seen with ticks.
We see them all the time on birds, we see them on rabbits, and occasionally even snakes.
Dr. Walton says if you find a tick on your pet, you want to get it off as soon as possible.
All you really need is to go by the pet store, Amazon, and pick up a tick puller. And the trick is to pull it slowly.
Ticks can carry not only Lyme disease, but multiple diseases. There is a vaccine for pets, but not yet for humans.
Lyme disease is pretty serious disease, I would say.
that if people are not being treated, it is really, really devastating.
He says reported cases of ticks in BC have fluctuated over the years, but these numbers are slowly on the rise. In 2025, 39 people in BC ended up with Lyme disease. However, in most cases, the tick bites happened because of travel outside the province.
And if they get tick bite or even outdoor activities having flu-like symptoms, they definitely should check with their family physician.
Using DEET is key to keeping ticks, which can be found in tall grass and forested areas, off of humans. If you find a tick, you can upload photos of it to an app called eTick, which will identify it quickly and then let you know if it's the type of tick that carries diseases. Then they'll let you know next steps. Fortunately, less than 1% of the ticks tested in BC carry diseases. As for Rocco, he's regularly checked for ticks, knowing prevention is key.
Especially this year, because we heard that the ticks are getting bad. So we kind of just go through like his fur together.
To keeping him tick-free. Michelle Bernaro, CTV News, Maple Ridge.
Tonight is the final show for Stephen Colbert after CBS's controversial cancellation. Now, concerns that politics could put a chill on other comedians. And it's one of the most popular hikes in Metro Vancouver, but that didn't deter a black bear from joining hikers on the trail on a busy holiday Monday. That's ahead.
Time now for tonight's Sky Watch. The Lonsdale Quay waterfront near the shipyards under a bright blue sky in North Vancouver.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
As we get set for summer, Canadians will once again be offered discounts and free entry to various tourist sites. The federal government is bringing back the Canada Strong Pass next month. It offers free admission to national museums for children, as well as 50% off for visitors ages 18 to 24. There will also be free entry to all Parks Canada sites and a 25% rebate on camping fees. And some travelers on Via Rail can get discounts as well. The pass will be available from June 19th to September the 7th. There is a new way for visitors to explore the ice field in Jasper National Park. The world's first electric-powered ice explorer to shuttle guests around the Athabasca Glacier. The vehicle charges through onboard solar panels and regenerative braking. A black bear got a little too close for comfort to a group of hikers on a busy trail in North Vancouver this week. Video from Quarry Rock shows the bear walk right down to the trail that was full of hikers on holiday Monday. The trail in Deep Cove is one of the most popular hiking destinations on the North Shore.
Yikes.
They seem pretty calm, those hikers.
Yeah, so does the bear. He looks like he was just eyeing them, but I'm glad he went on his way, I'm assuming, by himself.
Yeah, I don't think there were any problems, and I think the hikers just stayed calm and just continued on their way.
We are living in their backyard, something to expect, right? All right, a beautiful day once again today, and another warm one for the South Coast. The hot spot across the country was Pemberton at 27.6 degrees, close, but not close enough to the records set back in 2015 at 31.7 degrees. All thanks to this ridge of high pressure dominating pretty much across the province. Still unsettled for the central interior through this afternoon, but it will clear up and dry up quite nicely as we head into tomorrow. So here's a look at our weather right now, our weather tracker right now. Early morning showers for the North Coast. Other than that, you're looking at cloudy skies for the Central Coast. Still clear and calm for the South Coast as we head into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. So this is what we can expect throughout the day tomorrow. Tonight, we'll see clear and calm conditions right around 9 and midnight, 14 degrees. Start off the day with mostly sunny skies at 8 o'clock. Lots of sunshine in store throughout the afternoon. By 3 o'clock, we'll reach 20 degrees. Inland temperatures will reach 25. Mostly sunny skies come 6 o'clock. It'll still be a warm 19 degrees with a few clouds. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for the southern interior. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Early morning showers clearing out of the way for Port Hardy with 14 degrees. 23s under mostly sunny skies for Campbell River and Comox. That's what you can expect for the South Island from Port Alberni right down to Victoria. A few clouds for Tofino. You're looking at temperatures between 17 19 and 26 degrees. Sunny skies for the Sunshine Coast and 21. Warmer up the Sea to Sky Highway with temperatures between 24 for Squamish, 25 for Whistler, and for us across the Lower Mainland. Mostly sunny skies once again. 20 degrees near the water, 26 degrees further inland. Heading into Saturday, we'll see 20 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. Clouds over on Sunday with a high of 18. Rain on Monday, easing into showers through the afternoon. A cool 15 degrees, and then clearing up for Tuesday and Wednesday. Mix of sun and cloud, temperatures in the high teens. On Thursday, unsettled. We'll start off dry with some sunny breaks. Showers returning in the afternoon with a high of 18 degrees. What a great way to finish off the work week and kick off the weekend.
But we do need some solid rain, I think, on Monday, right?
Yes, to start, we'll have periods of rain, and then it transitions over to showers as we head into the afternoon.
All right. Thank you, Anne. Well, tonight marks the end of an era as Stephen Colbert delivers his final sign-off, and The Late Show comes to an end after a 33-year run. CBS said the show is being pulled for financial reasons. But as CTV's John Vanavali-Rao reports, not everyone is buying that.
After tonight, we have only one more show left.
In the lead up to the finale, all sorts of A-listers dropping by to say goodbye to a show that never shied away from politically charged humor. And among them, Colbert's former colleague, Jon Stewart.
Stephen, get ready for the ride of your life.
With Talking Heads frontman David Byrne, perhaps summing up the feelings towards the network that pulled the plug.
It's The Late Show with David Letterman.
Making its debut on CBS 33 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a promo. This is the actual show.
Stephen Colbert took the helm in 2015.
We are up here for the wanton destruction of CBS property.
David Letterman recently joining him.
This is yours.
This is my desk chair.
To mark the show's controversial demise, announced after Colbert mocked a $16 million settlement between CBS parent company Paramount and U.S. President Donald Trump, calling it a big fat bribe. CBS insists the show's cancellation was a purely financial decision, but the timing left many unconvinced.
He took politics and made it part of the everyday conversation in a way that was satirical. He was trying to get people to think.
Recently joining Colbert on set, his fellow late-night hosts.
Is there anything that we have not touched on before we move on to this? I'm curious.
The outrage that your show is being thrown off the air?
Yeah. Some worry others will suffer the same fate.
You know, Seth Meyers is trying to introduce himself as next, you know, so these guys see it coming.
Anybody here from Canada?
Colbert often made Canada part of the conversation. From lampooning Trump's tariffs.
Why tax our maple syrup?
To interviewing Canadian politicians and celebrities, even belting out a classic maritime folk song.
But I'm a broken man on a Halifax pier, the last of Barrett's privateers.
And now for Colbert, it's one last show and a late-night landscape that may never be the same. John Vanavali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
How Spotify is giving some music fans a better chance at getting tickets for their favorite artists. Also ahead.
They will then, in turn, provide that intelligence information to us.
How police are hiring ethical hackers to disrupt fraud and prevent millions of dollars from being stolen. That's ahead. Spotify has officially entered the concert ticket market with a new feature called Reserved. Starting this summer, Spotify says select artists will be able to set aside concert tickets for their biggest fans. The platform will use listening data like streams and shares to identify those users who will then get a day-long window to buy tickets before they go on general sale. The feature is limited to premium Spotify subscribers aged 18 and up. Spotify says the goal is to help more tickets get to fans instead of scalpers. The Edmonton Police Service is employing ethical hackers to stop scammers in their tracks. They say the unorthodox collaboration has helped prevent the loss of tens of millions of dollars. CTV's Nariman Issa explains.
Criminals are getting smarter, more innovative, and reaching further.
Edmonton's police chief says fraud investigations have become more advanced.
From a policing perspective, this has dissolved our physical borders and means these investigations aren't what they used to be.
EPS has now hired hackers for its fraud investigations. They've been working with police since last July.
A unique opportunity for us to actually get involved before things could actually happen and people were victimized.
EPS says ethical hackers target frauds that are in progress. They engage with scam centers, then use their expertise to hack into its systems and gain access.
They capture data on victims. They can hear victims on the phone. They can see information going back and forth. And then they will then in turn provide that intelligence information to us so that we can then engage.
In 10 months, EPS says it's intercepted more than $45 million from getting into the hands of scammers.
Without them, we wouldn't be here to talk about this investigative success.
Ethical hackers have a very important role with law enforcement.
This cybersecurity analyst says it's now a crucial skill.
Crime has also become more digital. It is inevitable that we're going to see more of these collaborations, more of these types of stories, and more people getting criminally charged as a result of the efforts of law enforcement working with these experts and private industry.
EPS says as long as crime goes online, it'll be crucial to use ethical hackers. It's also worked with dozens of law enforcement agencies, including the U.S. Secret Service. Nair Misa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Canada's first PWHL champions took the trophy home to Montreal today. The city in celebration just ahead. Plus, the Sparkle House. Adam finds out the story behind a house covered in countless mini mirrors. Next on the Sawatsky Sign Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
With World Cup just weeks away, should we be concerned about the spread of global viruses? Friday on Your Morning Vancouver, with the rise of Ebola and hantavirus, what you need to know. Also, just how often are unsuspecting travelers' luggage getting swapped with suitcases full of drugs? Plus, we'll chat with Canadian comedian Tom Green as he gets back to basics on the farm with a new series. We'll see you in the morning.
PWHL champions, the Victoire, took the cup home to Montreal today, showing off a trophy they clinched after a win over the Ottawa Charge last night. This marks a significant moment for women's hockey in Canada. CTV's Jean-Vet Beauchemin has more on a city in celebration after the victory for the Victoire.
The Victoire's captain, Marie-Philippe Poulin, hoisted the Walter Cup. That sterling silver trophy now on home soil.
Yes.
Tell me about holding this cup.
Oh, amazing. It's so heavy, but it's so worth it. I think all the effort of this group, it's been unbelievable. And being able to come back to Montreal and share with our fans, it's super cool.
The first win for Montreal, the first win for Canada too in PWHL history. A victory for fans to savor.
I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been working for. And it's not just about the PWHL. It's about women playing hockey in Canada.
The Victoire clinched the championship in Game 4 over the Ottawa Charge. Abby Rock's shorthanded goal off her backhand. Now that was a thing of beauty for the highlight reel.
I just saw my chance and I figured I may as well try to score. And I'm happy I could get it done and get Pooh out of the box.
Poulin. Her team was determined to do everything possible so the world and Olympic champion would also add this piece of hardware missing from her trophy case. But she says it's the team's win and it will serve as inspiration for girls now growing up dreaming of hockey glory.
Yeah, I was that little kid back in the day where there's not many possibilities for us. There was a lot of men's hockey, but the Karen Ouellet, the Kim St. Pierre, they paved the way for all of us, and being able to do that and inspire the young generation, being part of PWHL.
And there will be a public celebration in coming days where the Victoire will show off the Walter Cup. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
A BC veteran is marking his 75th birthday by setting out on a cycling journey from Vancouver to Winnipeg. His goal is to raise money for Wounded Warriors Canada while starting conversations around mental health.
Wounded Warriors Canada is a mental health service provider for our veterans and first responders and their families. Our veterans and our first responders and so many others who deal with trauma are being left behind.
Gary McCracken kicked off the Road to Valor tribute ride in Burnaby this afternoon. He and his team are taking on a 2,700-kilometer unsupported ride, honoring Canadian Victoria Cross recipients along the way. So far, they've already raised nearly $54,000 for the cause. Wow. All the way to Winnipeg.
And unsupported. That is amazing that they're doing that by themselves.
Glad it's a group, not him alone.
Exactly. The Rockies, that's going to be challenging.
A little bit, yes.
Okay, well, a bear is looking for a new place to relax after getting kicked out of a hot tub store in Kelowna.
Hey, get out of here, you guys. You guys get ready to get back.
The unwelcome visit was captured on camera. It looks like the bear briefly tested a tub out before being shooed away. Staff say the shop's doors are left open in the summer, and the bear must have seen that as an invite. Mounties say the bear was last seen in an orchard out of harm's way and not posing any danger to the public.
Just wanted to relax.
Exactly.
I don't know if there was any water, though.
No, like all the tubs were empty.
Yeah, so that's why the bear left. More fun in the orchard, more food there,
for
too.
sure.
Okay, we'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in a minute. First, Lauren, what's coming up tonight at 11:30?
Well, Mijang, another business in Surrey has been hit by gunfire in broad daylight. The Surrey Police Major Crimes Unit has taken over the case. We will have the latest on that investigation tonight. And tragedy on the water with two separate drownings unfolding within hours of each other in the same BC city. We'll have more on what unfolded, what we know about the victims, and the water warnings ahead at 11:30.
All right, thanks a lot, Lauren. A house on Vancouver Island shines brighter than most. The owners covered it in sparkles at a time when they needed extra light in their lives. Adam explains in this Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
Long before these flowers began blooming, Joanna Young's doctor said her health was failing fast.
You say you just said go home, make out your will, you'll be dead in 5 years.
While she waited for an organ transplant, Joanna and her husband Vince Rocco decided to move back to where they grew up.
I came out, went house shopping, found this house by accident.
Joanna was too sick to see it until after he bought it.
And it was the ugliest house I'd ever seen.
But Vince, who's an industrial designer, said it had good bones and promised to transform it into his wife's dream house.
I asked for a black house with sparkles, and he built me a black house with sparkles.
While Vince was sourcing the materials to create and install this wall of mini moving mirrors, Joanna was facing her mortality.
Oh dear, I need to find out all these things for my kids, because I might not be here.
You see, Joanna never got a chance to ask about her past because her mom died young. So when she tracked down her family tree, Joanna was shocked to discover that not only was she Métis, she was related to one of Louis Rial's most trusted confidants.
All of my family are quite famous Métis fighters, and I was like, oh, well, no wonder I'm so feisty.
While her home was so bright, Joanna's prognosis was so bleak. Until the last moment, they found a donor, and she survived the surgery.
And when I woke up, I'm alive, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to do something really special with this gift of life. So I thought, I think I'll try and make my Métis ancestors proud of me.
So along with healing her body, Joanna was learning about her culture and connecting with her community before becoming a Métis elder in local schools, empowering Métis youth.
When I teach in the schools, when we make a medicine bag, it's not just things that you take to make you better physically. It's something that makes you feel good in your soul, and sparkles always bring my spirit up.
And that's how a sparkling house,
Life's too short, why be boring, right?
was transformed into an inspiring and healing home. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Souk.
The Sawatsky Sign-Off, brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
It is pretty mesmerizing, those sparkles.
Oh yeah, we have a mirror ball outside on our patio hanging from our tree, and when the sun hits it, it's beautiful. Everybody should do it.
Stunning.
Yeah. And I like the sound that it made too when the wind hit the sparkles. Beautiful. I think I would just stare at it all day.
You'd miss work, everything. It'd be terrible. All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. A pretty picture from Pritchard. Thanks, Candy, for sending this gorgeous photo in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Awesome. I love seeing, glimpses of different parts of our province.
Yeah.
Like Pritchard and the Thompson region.
Yes,
right?
Thompson region.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night.